guys, welcome back to the channel, and of course it is DEATHWATCH week, and I'm joined by a very special, impartial guest, Jacob from the Warpforge. Welcome, Jacob.
Hey boys, it's the Warpforge here. Hey guys.
Jacob is very eccentric, as you may have seen in some of the videos when he's randomly appeared with eyeball pointing in the camera. So thank you very much for that, Jacob.
I know, I'm just delicious. I'm just camera porn.
Oh, this guy's my friend. Anyway, we are here to talk about DEATHWATCH. Thankfully, Jacob is not one of these people that go, "Ah, Primaris, no!" I genuinely think Primaris have a decent place in the DEATHWATCH codex. I don't necessarily agree with the fluff, Jacob, because DEATHWATCH is supposed to be the best of the best of the best.
What do you think Primaris are? They're the best of the best of the best?
Physically, they might be. But tactically and stuff, they've only been around, what, 100 years at this point?
Yeah, just a few hundred. Yeah.
So, without further ado, obviously go and check Jacob's channel out, like Doctor Who, Batman, and random 2 o'clock in the morning 40k painting sessions when he's drinking Trooper.
Yes, Uncle Eddie never fails to disappoint.
So, I've already had the game against Phil. Jacob caught little bits and pieces of that. He was there at Battle Bunker when we filmed it. I would like to say my impressions are good. I think DEATHWATCH have teeth, Jacob.
They look alright.
I do think that in the hands of an experienced player, they could be quite good. I don't think they're going to be top tier like Eldar, Tau, and some good Blood Angel builds. But they're in a position where Harlequins were in the index phase, where they do have teeth, they can dish out the damage, but you make tactical mistakes and it costs you.
Yeah, I think when I see DEATHWATCH, it's like majority of Astartes armies, which basically punch for the throat. You kill a lot of units in one turn, or it's always going to cost you an arm and a leg. When I see DEATHWATCH, I just see an extra few upgrades here and there to further that agenda or further that play style.
The kill teams themselves are very, very versatile depending on how you build them. The sheer access of war gear that you've got means that you can customize a squad and build it for a specific job. But if you've watched the battle report already, you'll see that I kind of went out a little bit too hard, I think. I'm used to Blood Angels rushing, getting in your face, and especially even with the Harlequins as well. And I think I just pushed it forward too early, and ultimately it cost us half my army, and I just couldn't bring it back quite to the point that I wanted. It was still a very close game, very, very killy on both sides. But funny enough, when I was editing, Jacob, right, I think the whole battle report's an hour 45 with army overviews and everything. Turn 1 and 2 took me to an hour and 10. The last 35 minutes was 3 turns.
Well,
that goes to show how killy it was. So, right, chapter tactics as such. DEATHWATCH have access to special issue ammunition. And we've just been discussing these, and we think that, you know, each one of these is very situational, but still very, very good. And I think, once again, it depends on how you build the specific unit or kill team as to which one would work well. So we've got Dragonfire Bolt, which I'd want to hit rolls for this weapon when targeting your unit that is in cover. Now, how many Jormungandr high fleets do you see, Jacob?
How many high fleets do I see?
Jormungandr high fleets.
Ah, Jormungandr.
Because they count as being in cover.
Yeah, the Starship Troopers ones.
Yeah.
I don't really see them an awful lot, if I'm honest.
Nope. How many Dalith Sept do you see for Tau?
The what Sept?
Exactly. I love the fluff behind Dalith, but I don't like their play style, unfortunately. Cover isn't as prominent in 8th as what it was in 7th, so while it might be useful, I don't think it's great. I think, you know, if you've got something in cover, you're probably better off going for one of the other rounds, either Hellfire round, which always wounds on a 2. So even if, for example, you're targeting termagants in cover, do you want to hit on 2s? Or do you want to hit on 3s re-rolling and then wound on 3s anyway, possibly re-rolling ones or wound on 2s? You get +1 either way, and I feel like, you know, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
To get extra hits, there's so many ways to get +10 or re-roll hits at least from Watchmasters and Captains that I don't think you really need Dragonfire bolts. I understand the fluff behind them. I think that might have been better if it ignored cover, Jacob.
I could see that.
Because Space Marines in cover, right? 2-up save. Would you rather have +1 to hit against them or no cover save?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather have the no cover save, and that's what it used to be for veterans in 7th. Of course, we've said the Hellfire rounds. I think that's very, very good against big monsters such as Tyranids. It just doesn't work against Titanic units. So Wraith Knight, Hero Jewels, Storm Surge. I can't even remember if the Storm Surge is a vehicle or not. I don't think it is.
Storm Surge, I think it's a monster.
Yeah. So yeah, it's handy, especially, you know, drowning a Malaceptor in weight of dice is really, really good wounded on 2s. You've got the Kraken Bolt, which is add 3 to the range for this weapon. If it's a pistol, or 6, and improve the AP characteristic by 1. So you're making the range longer and getting an extra AP. Very, very good for popping things off from a longer distance. Now, take this, Jacob, right?
Yep.
Primaris Intercessors with, I need to flip for the correct name of the rifle. It's the one with AP -2, and it's already 30-inch range, I believe. Give us a second, I'm just flicking. Where's it at? I think we've gone past. Yes, I have.
So
look at check me out, all prepared. Right, so so the Stalker Bolt Rifle for the Intercessor Squad is range 36, heavy 1, strength 4 -2. Oh look, I'm now range 42 at -3.
Sounds like you want to camp with that unit.
It gets better, and we'll discuss that when we get to the kill teams, though, because there's some really good combos. The opposite of that, of course, is you can shorten the range and increase it by 2. So if you have a normal bolt rifle, which is 30-inch range on an Intercessor, you drop it to range 24, and you've still got -3 AP, just at a shorter range with 12-inch rapid fire at -3 AP. What's not to love?
Well, Xenos won't love it at all.
Of course, you've also got the auto bolt rifle, which is Assault 2. It is shorter range, range 24, but even then, Assault 2 bolt rifle, right, at range 30, if you take the Kraken bolt, suddenly becomes -1 as well.
Alright, yeah.
And of course, there is where, obviously, you can move around with that. You can move in advance and still fire it. And you've still got the bonus of -1, so you've got the extra move and the AP of a normal bolt rifle, still with 2 shots. I think with them special issue ammunitions, I think the normal bolt rifle for Intercessors is redundant. I think you either go for the auto bolt rifle, which is shorter range Assault 2, or you go for the Stalker bolt rifle, which is longer range, heavy 1, with -2 AP.
So can you use these in consecutive turns, or do you have to switch ammunition every turn?
No, you can use whatever you want, whenever you want. As long as the whole squad has to fire with that ammo. But there is a way around some of that, which we'll get to later. Now, other things to obviously consider with all of this is standard bolt guns. For example, bikers have a twin bolt gun, Stormbolt is a rapid fire 2, which means you're getting 4 shots within 12. 4 shots within 12 inches, wounding on 2s.
Okay.
Or if you're going against Gribblies, you know, you don't mind wounding on 3s, for example. You could give it a +1 AP. You've become range 30, rapid fire 15 inches with 4 shots at -1 AP. There's an incredible amount of versatility with normal storm bolters, and I think the assault bolter and the stalker bolter from the intercessors. So, special issue ammunition, really, really good. Very versatile. You can swap to your target. Obviously, if you're going against Marines, wounding on 2s might not necessarily help you as much when they're just going to bounce off 2 up and 3 up armor. You're absolutely going to go for the -2 AP.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we have mission tactics as well, and these are the Deathwatch chapter tactics, Jacob. So, what we get is essentially reroll 1s to wound, and this is why there is no lieutenant in the Deathwatch codex. You basically get 6 different ones. Don't ask me to pronounce the names. Can't do it.
Okay.
So basically, each battlefield roll. Troops, HQ, fast, elite, heavy, and flyers. You get to reroll wound rolls of a 1 against them. Now, this only applies to dreadnoughts and, of course, your infantry. I've got a question, though, Jacob.
Yeah.
What happens if you go against the Dark Eldar army with, like, 12 Venoms?
And it doesn't work against those vehicles, or...
Well, it's a dedicated transport. They don't have a fixed roll. So, therefore, you don't get any reroll to wound rolls of a 1.
Yeah, sounds like that, so you don't get rerolls.
I think that... I don't know. They should have included it. I think that... I don't know whether that's an oversight or not.
I would say give it 2 minutes, they'll probably bring an FAQ out saying, oh, whoopsie daisies, we're putting the GTs now.
well, we know that they always bring out the FAQ about 2 weeks after they say that they're going to. And of course, Warhammer Fest is next week, so I doubt we'll see anything on it next week. But I think the dedicated transports need to be added somewhere. Where, I don't know. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. Yeah. So, we're going to skip to the back of the book now, Jacob, and have a look at the Warlord traits, and we'll have a look at the relics.
Delicious.
Okay. So, Warlord traits. Bane of Monstrosities was in chapter approved, which is reroll wound rolls versus vehicles and monsters. It's okay. Not bad. It's not great. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just trying to think. It's good against monsters. When you can like use that on top of whatever lord you can. I can imagine Strongbolt's benefiting.
It's only in the combat phase.
Ah, well. I mean, you can have. Can you have captains in Gravis armor?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've got those giant demon hammers, so I think that would work quite nicely.
Captains can't take heavy thunder hammers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, see what I mean? It's okay. It's not the best by far.
Deathwatch. Everyone gets the special gear, apart from that captain over there who can't have the special hammer. No hammer for him.
Yeah. Lord of Hidden Knowledge is the one that I ran. Now, you have to be careful with these command point regeneration warlord traits and stuff, because every single one of them seems to be different and worded different. For example, I believe, serving from memory, the AdMech one is every time you or your opponent use a stratagem, on a 6 you get a command point back, or a 5 and a 6. The Tau one is every time you or your opponent spend a command point. And then this one is every time, the Tau one's on a 6+, so you can steal command points from your opponent. This one is on a 5+, each time you spend a stratagem, you get 1 command point back.
Okay.
So See, I don't know which one of the codexes has one where if you use a 3 command point stratagem, you roll 3 dice, and on a 6 you get each command point back. This one is specific. If you spend a 3 command point stratagem, you roll 1 dice.
Okay.
And on a 5, you have to be very careful with the word of this. But Lord of Hidden Knowledge also gives you 1 free reroll to hit, to wound, damage, or a save. So your Warlord essentially gets a free command point. And you generate them back. And you know what? The amount that I generated back against Phil, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Looking at the rest of them, I don't particularly like the rest of them. I think that they're not very powerful at all. So there's the Castellan, which is add 1 to the damage characteristic to any non-relic weapons that your Warlord carries. It's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't mind a damage 3, what's it called? The Lance. Guardian Spear.
Yes.
A damage 3 Guardian Spear is funny. But
yeah,
I don't want that over the command point one.
Yeah. I think the command point's the most versatile one. It's one that you can just stick in any army and just go, hey, we're generating command points back again. And that's been a recurrent thing with the most recent codexes. I mean, I know there's the Dark Eldar generator as well that generates sword, and as you said, the Tau and the Admech generate their own as well.
Yeah, yeah. The next one is Watch Eternal. You get a 6-up Feel No Pain for the last wound lost on each model within 6 of the Warlord. So you've got a squad of Terminators or bikes or Primaris next to your Warlord. They take that first wound, they don't get the 6-up. They take the second wound, then they get a 6-up.
So before they die, they get a 6-up Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
I can see why that isn't useful, because the issue is if something's going to target in the starter's unit, either it's going to hit hard to an extreme, like a las cannon, where it's just -3 or -4 with d6 damage and all that, or it's going to be volume of fire, and usually against the infantry, it's usually volume of fire that takes them down. Yeah. Now, for units like armies like Death Guard and stuff, which can play around with disgustingly resilient, which is essentially the same thing, it can work. But for Deathwatch, which want to be punching for the throat more than actually taking the hits, they can take a decent hit, but they can't take that well of a hit. That sounds like it wants to be boostful, it wants to be proud of what it is, but it isn't.
If it was just 6-up Feel No Pain, in general, within 6 inches, then I would agree that it would probably be decent to try and keep your intercessors, your bikers, your Terminators alive a little bit longer. But for having them for just the last wound, it's not worth anything. It's like the Admech one, one of the Admech Forge Worlds have that. You get a 6-up Feel No Pain for your last wound. Army Onager gets it out of its 11 wounds, it gets 1 6-up Feel No Pain at the end.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So the next one is Vigilant Incarnate. Once per battle at the start of the turn, you can change mission tactics. And that's your reroll to wound rolls over 1.
I can see that being versatile. I think
do you want to change your tactics once in the game, or do you want more command points?
It's rate dependent. If you're trying to go, I think personally from what I've seen and observed, if you want to be punching for the throat more, you want to be generating more command points, because you want to be accessing those command points to put further emphasis on punching on the throat. However, the one you've just said sounds better for objective camping. So if you just want to camp on objectives and just stay there, and you've got an opponent who is very, I wouldn't say manipulative, but very observant of their movements and the movement phase. If you're expecting one thing and then you get another thing, like say infantry, but then you get a monster in front of you instead, it's very, very useful to quickly switch that around.
What if I told you that you could change mission tactics for 1 command point?
It's
that now becomes useless, and I would far rather take Lord of Knowledge, spend the command point, and have a 33% chance of getting it back. Plus, you can use the stratagem multiple times throughout the game.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's enough.
I think what it is, yes, if you want to use it multiple times during the game, that's stratagem, sure, but then you are spending command points, and you are just hoping on a dice roll to get that command point back. To which, what are you spending it on? Are you going to spend it on the same stratagem, or are you going to spend it on other things?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Do you want to pay a resource for switching command tactics, or do you want to get it essentially for free and then use those command points for something else?
Yeah. The next one is I can't even say the name of this. I'm not going to say it.
But I mean, it's all butcherized Latin anyway.
What? Right. So your warlord picks an enemy unit, right?
Yeah.
Any Deathwatch units within 6 of your warlord that fire at that unit that your warlord picked have ignores cover, basically. Yeah, that's it. So, moving on to the relics. Moving on to the relics. Bane bolts. +1 damage, and on a 6+ to wound, it causes a mortal wound in addition. Oh my. I've just seen an awesome combo by going through that. So, Warlord trait, right? Add 1 to the damage for a non-relic weapon. Guardian Spear. Relic. Bane Bolt. +1 damage. Damage 4 Guardian Spear.
Plus the mortal wound?
Plus the mortal wound if you get a 6 to wound. Plus, there is a stratagem. I wouldn't spend it on just a Guardian Spear. Unless I had nothing else. You can get +1 to wound against certain targets, which means that you would actually cause the mortal wounds on 5s. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
It's handy, but I think it is one of the better ones, but it's not the best. The best one for me is the Beacon Angelus. And essentially, it's a teleport homer. So, once per battle, the bearer of the Beacon Angelus can teleport an infantry unit to wholly within 6 inches of him, more than 9 inches away from the enemy.
I think that's a good one. It's a good one to, if your warlord needs an objective and needs support on an objective, it's a good getaway device on that.
Or to bring the fire where it needs to be, because if your warlord goes with a kill team, for example, kill team's dead, the warlord's left alone, you need to take our objective, you need to kill the monster on that side, boom, there you go. Oh, look, I've just dropped 4 frag cannons 9 inches away from me. It's good, and I think it absolutely helps with the mobility that Deathwatch. I wouldn't say they need mobility, but the problem is you're constantly kind of on the move. And if you can move around faster without taking penalties and stuff, target prioritization and positioning for Deathwatch is critical. So that's why I prefer this one. The next one that we've got is the Dominus Aegis. It's a storm shield. If you stay still, models within 6 inches get a 5++. It's cool. Oh look, my dreadnought that is within 6 inches gets a 5++. My Land Raider has a 5++.
Yeah, I mean that could help Redempted Dreadnoughts, I guess.
Yes.
Because they always lack that invuln save that everyone's screaming for. So give them if you want a cheap, quick army and you want a few of those easy to build Redempted Dreadnoughts.
I was literally about to say, Jacob, go to Battle Bunker and pick me up a click together Dreadnought, please. I want one. I want one now for me Deathwatch. You know I love Dreadnoughts. You've seen the Blood Angel Dreadnought.
Yeah.
I want a Deathwatch Redemptor now. Stick a captain with a storm shield next to him. All of a sudden, the Redemptor's getting reroll 1s, and he's got a 5-up invuln.
Yeah.
Better still, stick 3 Venerable Dreadnoughts around him. They're hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s. They're not going to move. He's not going to move. And they've got a 5++. Jacob, I need to build a captain with a storm shield, and I need another dreadnought. Interesting enough, you've only seen one in the army overview there. I do have another one here, sprayed black, ready to paint. And you know, maybe I could just chuck a Blood Angel 1 in. I'm sure nobody would really mind.
Guess you're painting tonight.
The next one we've got the key something or other, which it's all right. This one, I think this is okay. So enemies subtract 1 from their hit rolls whilst they're within 9 inches of the bearer. So it doesn't matter whether they target the bearer or not. If they're within 9 inches of the guy that's holding this, they have a -1 to hit. And there's the compressor. You are also, if you are within an inch of an enemy vehicle, you get an extra attack against the vehicle. If you hit, you do D3 mortal wounds.
That's interesting.
It's all right. I think it's, it's got its merits. The next one is a power sword, and again, don't ask me for the name. It's 2 damage power sword, right?
Okay.
You pick a Xenos keyword, so Tyranid, Orc, Necron, and you get to reroll wounds against units with that keyword.
Okay.
So
that's versatile.
It's okay. The next one is the Tome of Ethereal Echelades, something or other. I told you, don't ask me to pronounce these things. So what you do, Jacob, is you pick a second mission tactic other than the one that you've got active for your army, and the Deathwatch unit within 6 inches of the bearer of that tome can use either one.
Okay. So the bearer, he basically takes it on himself and doesn't really give it out.
No. The bearer of the tome picks a Deathwatch unit within 6 inches of him.
Okay.
That Deathwatch unit can then either use your normal mission tactics that you chose at the start of the game, or an additional one. So say for example, say you choose your mission tactics as reroll wounds against troops, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, on one flank, you've got like 2 Maleceptors, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. With this tome, I'm going to use the reroll wound rolls of a 1 against elite, and all of a sudden, them frag cannons that are within 6 inches of the guy that's holding this get the reroll to wound rolls of a 1 against the Maleceptors.
Okay, so I can see it as just promoting that further versatility.
Essentially, it's one unit can use a different mission tactic. So it's handy. There's some good relics there. I think most of them have use. I think the one that I definitely probably wouldn't go for is the Power Sword.
Yeah, Power Sword feels like it's that sounds like it's meant to be for like patrol missions or like very low point games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now all of them are really, really cool, fluffy, and fun. So I like them all a lot.
Yeah.
But we've been talking for 30 minutes already, or nearly. So let's crack on with the stratagems. Now I'm not going to go through all the Space Marine ones. I'll read what they are, but we don't really need to discuss them. Most people know what the Space Marine ones are. So we've got the Armour of Contempt, which gives a vehicle a 5-up against mortal wounds. We've got Auspex Scan, which lets you shoot if someone sets up within 12 inches of a unit, but you suffer -1. We've got Armory of the Watch Fortress, which is taking extra relic. It's the same across all codexes, just different names. We've got Hellfire Shells for heavy bolters, which is D3 mortal wounds if you hit. Orbital Bombardment. You've got Empiric Channeling, which is for librarians, but you need 3 of them. Only in Death Does Duty End, which is shoot or fight again when the character dies. You've got Honor Your Brothers, which is basically fight a second time. Wisdom of the Ancients, which is let a Dreadnought and everybody within 6 reroll 1s. You've got Flak Missiles, which is D3 mortal wounds if a missile launcher hits a flyer. And you've got Tactical Flexibility, which is at the start of your movement phase, you can split a squad up. So obviously you can do that mid-game.
Yeah.
So they're all standard Space Marine ones. But Deathwatch ones. Teleportarium. Basically set a unit up essentially in deep strike. Why would you Why would you not do this? I'm sorry, right, but drop pods. How many drop pods do you see now, Jacob?
Virtually none, unfortunately.
Do you know how many I've got?
24.
11.
So close, yet so far.
Unfortunately, they're just absolutely. Before, when I played my first game with them, I did take a drop pod because obviously we didn't have this stratagem. Now we do. I don't see why I would ever spend 80, 90 points on a drop pod.
Yeah, it's on those. I think drop pods now are one of those things that you use in apocalypse games with a board bigger than 6x4.
Yeah.
It's just the 9-inch range is stretching it. That's the issue they have.
Do you know how I think we could fix drop pods? And this is a whole other discussion which we won't go too far into. Basically, have drop pods be an exception to the rule of being able to deep strike turn 1 outside your deployment zone. You still have to be 9 inches away from the enemy, but look, I can bring a drop pod in.
As long as Chaos can get drop pods, then I'd be happy with that.
You've got to Charybdis. You've got to Charybdis, Jacob.
Yeah, we've got the Dread Claws and the Crabby Hydra Claws because I can't pronounce that name. But the Crabby Hydras, I call them. But I still want drop pods.
Yeah. So we've got Death to the Alien. This is more for a combat-focused unit. Basically, any 6s to hit in the combat phase, you generate an extra attack. It's useful.
Yeah.
You've got Adaptive Tactics, which is 2 command points to change your mission tactics. But if your Warlord is the Watchmaster and he's still on the table, it's just if your Warlord's the Watchmaster, it only costs 1 command point.
Okay, that's interesting.
So basically, you can so it's like when I played Phil the other day, I ran out of elites, and I was like, you know what, I would really, really love, had I not spent all my command points, change my mission tactics to HQ, because you had 2 Neurothropes and a Hive Tyrant I really, really needed to get through. So again, it's useful, especially if you've got that regenerate command points. You know, you can pop it once a turn, and you know you might get it back. If you've killed all of the opponent's troops, switch to something else. It's worth a command point.
Yeah, it is.
The next one that we've got is Optimized Salvo. So say you've got a squad of 10 guys, all with bolters, right? All with special issue ammunition, Jacob. But you only want to put like 5 or 6 into that squad, and you want to put 3 or 4 into that squad, right?
Yeah.
Which ammunition do you choose?
Really depends.
So you've got Carnifex next to you on 2 wounds, right? You want to go for the Hellfire rounds, right?
Yeah.
You've got, I can't think of anything that's toughness 4 with a 3 up armor. Tuna Prime maybe. I can't think. Tuna Prime on the other side. Do you want to wound it on 2s, or would you rather have it at -2 AP so it's got no save, or next to no save?
I'd rather have next to no save, if I'm honest.
But how are you then going to do that against the Carnifex? You want to wound it on 2s? Well, you do it by using Optimized Salvo. You split the special issue ammunition in the squad. Basically, that guy's going to use that one, that guy's going to use that one, that guy's going to use that one.
I can see that. That seems very useful.
Yep. The next one is the Clavis. The Watchmaster does D3 mortal wounds to a vehicle within an inch on a 2+. So, oh look, I'm going to spend a command point. On a 2+, that vehicle takes D3 mortal wounds. Also, I have a key. I can do D3 mortal wounds.
That's definitely something that's popped out so far.
So basically, with the key and that stratagem, you can just go bang, 2d3 mortal wounds on that vehicle.
Yeah, that's...
Do you know what's not good about that?
What's not good?
When you fight Tyranids. Anyway, moving on. Decapitation, and I totally forgot about this one when I played Phil, and I had so many guys right in front of his Hive Tyrant, and I was desperate to kill him, and I left him on 1 wound. Decapitation Doctrines. Reroll failed wounds against the Warlord in the fight or shooting phase. Basically, you activate it at the start of the phase, and it lasts for the shooting phase, or lasts for the fight phase for one of your units. So that squad of Terminators that I had would have been very useful to use this. So what I probably would have done was rather than leaving them on the 3-up armor save and then wounding on 2s, I probably would have used the Stormbolters with the -1 AP round, right?
Yeah.
I'd be wounding on 5s re-rolling.
I can see that, yeah.
So, you know, there's definitely the versatility. Combining things like this with the special issue ammunition. Oh, by the way, here's another one. Tempest shells. Any bolt weapon that hits a vehicle that has special issue ammunition, 1 command point, D3 mortal wounds. Oh, look, my Watchmaster has a bolt pistol. There is 3 D3 wounds on your vehicle.
Yeah, it sounds like they really wanted to put emphasis on hurting a few Tau constructs as well as not the jet bikes, the Raiders and Falcons, or not the Falcons, Wave Serpents, that's what I'm thinking of.
It's very handy against Wave Serpents. Very.
Yeah. They wanted something against that because they know that Dark Eldar and Raiders and stuff like that are going to hurt a lot, so they need it. It sounds like they wanted a counter specifically for that.
Yep. We've then got 6 different doctrines. Each one is a separate command point, a separate stratagem. So you can stack these, and you could, if you have the command points, Jacob, use all 6 of these in one turn. And basically, it's +1 to wound against the battlefield roll. So troop, HQ, fast elite, and so forth. So, if you're already wounding on 2s with Dragonfire shells, right, or Hellfire rounds rather, I would just rather use the -2 AP, but then I'm still wounding Marines on 3s. But at -2 or -3, depending on what weapon you're firing with. So, you know what I mean? If you pick +1 to wound against, I'm saying Marines because, you know, everyone knows stats of Marines. So your bolters are wounding on 4s normally. Right, I'll increase that to a 2+ wound, but you've still got a 3-up armor save. Actually, hang on, you know what? I'm pretty close. I'll go for -2 AP, so you've only got a 5-up. And I'm going to add +1 to wound rolls, which means I'm wounding you on 3s. Oh, but look, my chapter tactics or my mission tactics is reroll 1s against troops. So I'm now suddenly hitting you on 3s, rerolling because of my Watchmaster, wounding you on 3s because I'm a +1 to wound, rerolling the 1s. Oh, and you're at -2 or 3 AP as well. There is so many combos that you have to try and remember with this army. It's unbelievably versatile, and even for somebody as quick as maths as me, I don't show it on camera, but there's so many ways to buff things, and there's so many ways to get the same effect, and working out which one is to maximize your damage.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is definitely, like you said, I think a lot of it wants to, a lot of it wants to counter the most recent codexes like Jakari and stuff, as you were saying, for mortal wounds and stuff. But I also see a lot of things that want to be attacking elite units like battlesuits and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of toe treading though. It sounds like they've made a ton of buffs, but some buffs basically do the same thing, but certain ones do it better than others. And I think they've thought about one particular play style and totally forgot that will tread over into something else which can do it better or something like that. You know what I mean?
There is more when you consider the +1 to wound, then you've got your mission tactics, then you've got all the special issue ammunition. There's a lot of ways to get the same effect, and it's about working out which 2 or 3 do you want all in one go.
Yeah. It's very turn priority.
Yeah. The other ones that we've got is 5 specific ones depending on which Xenos opponent you are facing. So we'll run through these quite quick because we took up a lot of time with the stratagems. The Orc one. Basically, when you fight Overwatch, Jacob, for every Orc that you kill, the Orc player has to subtract 1 from the charge distance.
Okay.
So when you even when you're re-rolling hits, because of the Watchmaster, re-rolling wounds perhaps, because let's face it, if you're fighting Orcs, you're going to go re-roll wounds of 1 against troops, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got shotguns, which can auto-hit. You've got frag cannons, which can auto-hit, of course, both within 8 inches.
Flamers.
The amount of combi flamers that you're going to be taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very good. Just don't be a silly orc player.
Honestly, I see that as Games Workshop trying to counter that jump, because I think, I'll say this about orcs. I honestly believe that jump where how people use it, where it's like a ton of boys and they just used to jump everywhere. I think that's personally the weakest strategy. Now, the rule's good and the strategy is sound, but the reality is now so many orc lists are the same, where it's just orc boys to jump, that people have now adapted around it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a perfect example of Games Workshop forcing orc players to think differently, I think.
But the thing with that is, right, not only, obviously, granted, you're going to have to charge from 9 inches away, right? You kill 3 orc boys, right? Suddenly you need a 12 to charge. And let's face it, with all of that bolter fire, chances of killing 3 orc boys is pretty good.
Yeah.
But even then, running up the table and advancing and charging, you know what I mean? If you're advancing, charging and going that way, your chances are you're going to be within 8 inches when you charge, which means the frag cannons and flamers are going to hit you.
Exactly. It's one of those ones where it is pushing back and slowing down the tide. So it's one of those things where if now I can see orc players, especially orc players, will, obviously because it's an orc structure, but I can see orc players now trying to adapt using that jump on other things now, or maybe just not forgetting the waypoint and doing other things, because the first thing that goes into my mind is the only reason why I'd want to throw a mob of orcs at that unit is to literally soak up fire to hopefully roll a 12. I would much rather get a squad of mega knobs and throw them at them instead, because, yeah, okay, you've got all those flame heads and stuff, but I also have a 2-up save. That 2-up save is going to save me an immense amount of time trudging through stuff, you know what I mean? Plus, I think 2 or 3 wounds per mega knob as well now, so it's they're a lot more durable, and if you put them in a truck and throw them up and then disembark them and just go, right, I'm going to charge these at this short distance, come at me with all your frag cannons and stuff, I think that stratagem's going to make orc players think and adapt around more than the copy and paste boys of the jump.
Well, obviously there is rumours of primer orcs coming. Obviously the rumour engine that came out this week looks like a squig, and of course there is rumours of a giant Gazgul model apparently getting announced at Warhammer Fest, but we'll see next week.
Ooh,
but
to that one.
Jacob, unfortunately for you, this is not about orcs. I know you love orcs.
I know.
So next up we've got Necrons, which is basically subtract 1 from the reanimation protocol rolls if you have a Deathwatch unit within 12. So obviously it's on a 5+ normally, it's on a 4+ with a Cryptech. Well, I don't care about your Cryptech, you're back down to a 5+.
You know what I see there? I see Games Workshop accidentally knowing that they messed up on the whole reanimation stratagem, where it's like, yeah, +1 to the reanimation protocol. So what people have been doing is getting like Glitch Guard and giving them a 2-up invuln save. This is that rule right there, or that stratagem right there, is to just say, no, stop that. You're not doing that.
Yeah. The next one is the Tau one. And basically, I think there's a little bit of ambiguity with this one, right? Because it says when the target is hit with a marker light, immediately use the stratagem. But then the Tau player also has a stratagem called Uplink Marker Light, which means whenever you hit, you can generate an extra D3 marker lights. Which one comes first?
It sounds like the marker light comes first, because you hit, you play the stratagem, you get further hits, then you play the Deathwatch stratagem.
That's the way that I would agree it should be. But hopefully that's been questioned quite a lot, so I think that one will be in the FAQ. But basically, I didn't even mention what the stratagem does. It basically strips the marker lights. So your opponent's just poured 1 squad into it. Oh, look, I've got 5 marker lights on you. I get +1 to hit. You've got no cover. I ignore heavy weapons and reroll 1s to hit. Oh, I've lost all that. I only hit on 4s now.
Yeah.
It's giving Tau the middle finger.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Tyrannid one, I almost used this to great effect, right? And had Phil played any other high fleet, I'd have pulled it off, right? So basically, it lets you target a Tyrannid character, even if they're not the closest. Now, I can kind of understand this, because obviously you want to be able to pick out the synapse and go, bang, there you go. Let's think about Tyrannid characters. Hive Tyrants. Oh, I can target them anyway. Tervigon. Oh, I can target her anyway. Old One Eye, fair enough, but you don't see him that often. Malanthropes, fair enough, but 9 wounds. Neurothropes, 3 up invuln, so good luck getting through that. Broodlord, fair enough. I went for Phil's Broodlord. I put like 12 wounds on him. He passed like 3 armor saves, or 4, and then it was like, right, I've just done 7 wounds. You're dead, Phil. He was like, no, I'm not. I'm Leviathan. I've got synapse. 6 up, feel no pain, and he rolled 3 6s. And then his Broodlord, of course, charged. Then his Broodlord charged forward and hacked my army apart. So
yeah, I can see that.
It's a good stratagem, but the problem is the Tyranids don't have any characters that are really worth targeting. Don't get me wrong, it's worth targeting the Malanthrope if you've got the firepower to take them out. The problem is you probably don't.
It is one of those things where it's a complementary stratagem. If you need to take something out, you need to give it to something that will take it out. So if you've got a few last cannons in, like, say, a Devastate squad, sounds great.
Oh, the Devastate squad that I can't take?
Yep,
there you go. So, that is all of the stratagems. Very, very fun, very fluffy. And I think that there's a lot of combos to try and remember, Jacob.
Yeah.
Not an army for the light-hearted. It's going to take practice to get good at these, just like it does with the Harlequins, which is, of course, in 2 weeks' time, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's have a look at some point changes. Now, I can't see loads that changed, but there was a few. So, Heavy Thunder Hammers are still 30 points.
Yeah.
Should have dropped it a little bit. A normal Thunderhammer, how much is a normal Thunderhammer? Is it like 12? I think it's 12.
I assumed they were 20, but...
No, they're not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Heavy Thunderhammers are still 30. The Corvus went down 10 points, which was good.
Yeah, definitely.
Bikes are now 25 points, and the bikes are the winner of this codex, I think, and we'll discuss that when we get to them. Vanguard Vets are 18 points each, so not bad considering a jump pack. Veterans are 16 points each, right? Primaris Intercessors are also 18 each. The shotgun is 3 points. Terminators are 31, right? And I don't understand why Terminators are 31 when I pick the codex back up, Space Marine Terminators are a lot cheaper. So, Space Marine Terminators, 26.
Yeah.
Why are the 5 points more?
Can you equip special ammunition on them?
Yes, but special issue ammunition you pay for in the gun. Every single bolt weapon is a point or 2 more now. So a bolt pistol is 1 point. A bolt gun is 1 point. The Stone Bolter is not 2 points, it's 4 points. So why is it more?
Do they get any other? Do they get anything else, or any other buffs or anything? Do they get like better invuln saves, better deep strike?
Nope. The only thing they get is that you can mishmash the squad. So you could have one guy with a Thunderhammer Storm Shield, one guy with an Assault Cannon, one with a Cyclone Missile Launcher, and one with 2 Lightning Claws.
Okay.
But that doesn't justify an extra 5 points. You're already paying for the extra weapons. You can take 2 heavy weapons in a 5-man squad, but which is better than normal Marines because it's 1 per 5 normal.
I think it must have been a playtesting thing. I think they might have found that even with the points for the special ammunition and stuff like that, they proved, in playtesting at least, they must have been proved to have been still really powerful. So I think it's one of those things where it's like you're paying the cost for them, but the reality on the board is going to set them apart or set them straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But when you consider 31 points for the Terminator, 4 points for the Stormbolter, that's 35, plus 12 for the Power Fist, right? That's 47 points for a bog standard Terminator.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And whilst the Terminator is cool, right? The Space Marine Inceptor is toughness 5, 2 wounds, granted he's only got 3 up save. He's a jump infantry, and he pumps out 6 dice at strength 5 -1.
Yeah. Plus, you've got other Terminators and other codexes that, at the most, you could ally with or something like that. With
I found when I tried to build a Vanguard detachment that my Terminators were way too expensive. But I tried to show off a bit of everything in the what do you call it?
Battle report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's most of the points, okay? Yeah, obviously all the bolt weapons went up a point or 2 points, depending on what they are. So twin bolt gun is now 2 points. So, Watchmaster. Watchmasters are absolute the level HQ, you know, best of the best. I don't see any reason to take anything but 2 or 3 Watchmasters. You've got Captain Artemis as well. They're both 130 points. But a Watchmaster just trumps Artemis every time. So they both move 6. They both hit on 2s. Both strength 4, toughness 4. Watchmaster has 6 wounds. Artemis has 5. They've both got 4 attacks. I don't understand why the Watchmaster's leadership 9. He's essentially a chapter master. Why is he not leadership 10? But
does Artemis's close combat weapon count as a relic?
No.
So,
but he's a named character, therefore you cannot give him relics.
Okay.
Anyway, the Watchmaster's got a 2 up save. Artemis has a 3 up.
Interesting.
So, weapon-wise, we've already discussed the Guardian Spear. In combat, it's actually basically a D3 damage power sword with +1 strength. So it's strength 5, -3, D3 damage. Of course, if you take that Warlord trait and the bolt rounds were for shooting, but still, D3 +1 damage is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's shooting profile is basically bolt gun. It's rapid fire 1, range 24, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Oh look, I've got +1 damage because of my Warlord trait or whatever it is. Oh look, I've also got +1 damage because of them Kraken bolts. Not the Kraken bolts. You know which ones I mean, the red.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm going to fire with my AP -2 rounds. Oh no! I've got a damage 4 bolt gun at -3 AP that's doing mortal wounds on 6s. Possibly re-rolling because of mission tactics. The Watchmaster has a 4-pin vulnerable save. Artemis has a 4-pin vulnerable save. The Watchmaster allows all re-roll failed hits. Artemis only allows re-roll ones because he's just a captain.
Okay. Interesting.
Artemis's weapon, he's got a power sword. He's got the Hellfire Extremist, which I'm glad they changed. It's now essentially a flamer. It's a combi flamer that he's got. The flamer, assault D6, of course, always wounds on a 2 unless it's a vehicle.
That sounds good.
Yep. And then, of course, the bolt gun part is a standard bolt gun, but you can have special issue ammunition. And, of course, you can fire the combi part of it as well. So you'd be hitting on 3s, re-rolling the 1s.
Yeah.
But he does have the Stasis Bomb, and I totally forgot about this. If you've seen the battle report, I charged Zone Throw, and Phil just went, save, 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 and I should have used the Stasis Bomb. Ultimately, it cost me because Phil then cast Smite, blew up because he pearled, and him blowing up blew Artemis up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which is
I absolutely should have used the stasis bomb. I totally forgot about it. Basically, it's a grenade. You chuck it. It's once per game. If you hit, you do D6 mortal wounds. If you miss, you take D6 mortal wounds.
that's not bad. And he hits on twos, right?
And rerolls ones because of his own ability.
Yeah, that's why. That's why he's. That's yeah. I'd take Artemis for that ability because if you go up against, not maybe not like a hive tyrant or something, but say something like that can degrade or something that.
No, I would absolutely say a hive tyrant because a hive tyrant's got four invulnerable and toughness 7. Hell yes, I'm going to chuck that grenade on him.
I can see why. I can see why.
I just wish to God I'd remembered about it because I would have
Yeah.
killed Phil's hive tyrant earlier. But never mind. It's the second time I'd used the army, so
Yeah.
Oh, and he has 6 of Feel No Pain as standard.
Yeah.
So I can see merits for both, but I think the Watchmaster just outshines him every time.
Yeah.
I like him though, so you're probably going to see him in most of my armies. Now,
Yeah,
there is a lot of stuff, right, that you can take, which is typical Space Marine stuff, which I won't go too in-depth with, right? Chaplains, Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts can't take as many weapons as a Space Marine one, though, with Heavy Flamer, Assault Cannon. No, that's a Terminator list. Twin Lance Cannon, Assault Cannon, or Plasma Cannon. That's all you can take.
Okay.
So, not as versatile, but nah. You can take a Venerable Dreadnought. Of course, we've got Rhinos, Razorbacks, Land Raiders. We've got Librarian and Terminator Armor. Chaplain. Watch Captain, so you just use a normal Captain. Or Watch Captain Terminator Armor, so basically it's Captain and Terminator Armor. It's essentially all the same stuff as Space Marines, but you get access to mission tactics and special issue ammo.
That sounds nice.
Primaris stuff, we can now take all the separate squads. Hellblasters, I won't go over them, people know what they do. Inceptors, people know what they do. And Aggressors. There's a reason I've missed Intercessors though, and I'll get there. You take the Redemptor Dreadnought, you take the Repulsor, you take the Primaris Apothecary. Also, do not buy the Primaris Apothecary from Games Workshop for Deathwatch because it is £30.50, Jacob.
How much is the standard Apothecary?
£20.50. Oh, no.
So,
£22.50, sorry.
What exactly are you getting? Just one extra shoulder pad?
No, you get the full sprue.
Yeah, okay, that's a bit of a rip-off.
For the sake of one shoulder pad.
Yeah.
Chances are you're probably going to have a spare shoulder pad from somewhere.
Yeah. It's definitely for the new players who don't have any of the bits or anything. Even then, you just go on eBay and buy a spare shoulder pad.
That is pretty much everything in there. So we can take Vanguard Veteran squads. Obviously, we've covered Terminators earlier, so I don't need to go back over them. I'm just double checking. So we've got Intercessors and the Deathwatch kill teams. The Corvus Black Star. Let's have a look at that next. So like I said, it went down 10 points. A lot of people hoped it would get Power of the Machine Spirit. But it didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because obviously this is the only fly that they've got access to. And short of a Land Raider, and obviously that's like 300, 400 points nearly. It's the best thing we've got for heavy weapons other than Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
The Black Star rocket launcher, both of them are heavy D6, right?
Yeah.
One of them is strength 6, -1, +1 to hit rolls when targeting someone that can fly. But it's heavy.
Oh.
So you're already at -1 for moving, but you get your +1 back.
Doesn't have any special rules to negate that.
No, you +1 to hit when you target something that can fly.
All right.
That's it.
Okay. So just okay. I can see that.
+1, -1. It's not great. It's D6 shots. And
you can't put Stratagems on it.
For what?
On the Black Star.
Why? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking of just buffs to try and buff that ballistic skill, buff something on
Well, you
it.
can use like +1 to wound and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's something.
It is, but I would never use it on this because I'd be using it on another squad.
Yeah.
You can also fire the Dracos Warhead, which again is heavy D6, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage, +1 to hit if the target is in cover. So
Yeah.
you're getting D6 shots, hitting on 3s if you target something in cover, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. It's very, very lackluster.
Yeah.
It's cheap, but I don't see why I would ever take that over a Storm Strike missile launcher, which is heavy 1, strength 8, -3, 3 damage.
Yeah, I think it is the Storm Strike more expensive.
It is.
Yeah,
it's worth
that's
it.
fine. It's worth it in standard games, 2,000 points. I think it's definitely something that if you were playing like say 1,000 points or 500 points, it's an option to consider.
Realistically, though, not many people play under 2,000 points.
Yeah.
You can take a Hurricane Bolter on it, and it comes armed with a twin assault cannon. 44 points for the twin assault cannon, right? Heavy 12, strength 6, -1, 1 damage. Or 6 more points, you can go twin las cannon.
Yeah.
I'll take the twin las cannon, thank you. Of course, it can drop the hover mode if it stays in supersonic mode. Obviously, all the normal rules for flyers apply. -1 to hit it. It does have crash and burn, so it can explode. It has a Black Star cluster launcher, so you can drop bombs, which I totally forgot about again, because I haven't used it very often. Basically, you roll up to 10 dice for a unit that you fly over, and for each 6 you do a mortal wound.
That's nice.
It is, but if you fly over a vehicle, you roll 1 dice.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's there. Auspex Array, you can reroll hit rolls of a 1. No. Wait there. Sorry, I'm looking in the index. Yeah, Auspex Array and Infernum Halo launcher. Basically, you can reroll save rolls of a 1 if you stay in supersonic mode. I can't even find the page. Yeah, they're both 5 points anyway, and they're really, really, Corpse Black Stars are really good. I think we're about 230, 240, 50 points maybe, fully kitted out, and they're good. I've got 2. I love them. Deathwatch Bikers, Jacob. I think these are the winners.
Yeah.
So, movement 14, right?
Yeah.
Very fast. Twin bolt gun, right? So you've got rapid fire within 12. 4 shots each. With special issue ammunition. Toughness 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks. 3 up save. Sergeant has 3 attacks. He can take a power weapon. And he can now take a storm bolter.
Interesting.
Oh look,
Nice.
my sergeant all of a sudden has 8 shots within the fire range. Wounding you on 2s. And that's the sergeant alone. Of course, all the normal rules for bikes apply, so add 6 to move if you're advanced instead. Deathwatch Teleport Homer, though, you can put a Teleport Homer down in your deployment zone. If an enemy model moves within 9 inches, it's destroyed. But basically, any squad that has a Terminator in it can just teleport back to that point.
Yeah.
So, again, very handy for the maneuverability. If you consider a biker is 27 points with a twin bolt gun.
Yeah, I can see
I would
that.
absolutely fill out an Outrider detachment with 9 bikes.
Yeah, just minimum squads flying around everywhere. That's what I was thinking as well, yeah.
Yep. So, let's move on to normal kill teams. Okay? So, this is the bread and butter. These are the troop choices. So, we'll start with the normal Marines first. Now, as versatile as this is, Jacob, we'll have a discussion about which one you prefer between Veterans and Primaris after we've discussed both in depth, right?
Okay.
So, Deathwatch Veteran is a standard Space Marine. He just has 2 attacks and leadership 8.
Okay.
16 points. +1 for his bolt pistol, +1 for his bolt gun.
Yeah.
So he's 18 points, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Watch Sergeant gets an extra attack. You can take a black shield, which has an extra attack, and he replaces one of the veterans. You have to start with a minimum of 5 veterans, right? So every kill team, that is the core of it, is 5 veterans. The black shield can replace one of them. What the black shield does to the squad is he allows the squad to perform an heroic intervention.
Okay.
Which obviously, that's very handy because
yeah,
if you've got a combat-orientated squad behind your shooty squad with flamers, oh look, I'm going to heroic intervention with my squad kitted out to kill stuff. Of course, I'm then going to use the Watchmaster to reroll failed hits. I'm then going to pop the stratagem and generate extra attacks on a 6. And then I'm going to cause extra damage by going +1 to wound. And oh look, I'm also rerolling 1s to wound you as well.
Yeah.
So massive availability for combos there.
It's very good for counter attacks.
Does he have to charge? Yes. If you are able to do so, you must do so.
I can see that.
We've then got, if you add a Terminator to the squad, the whole unit becomes fearless.
That's interesting.
Of course, if you are fearless, I mean, the leadership 9 anyway with the sergeant, so do you know what I mean? You're going to have to lose a fair few, and then you've still got your reroll because of "And They Shall Know No Fear." But if you've got a Terminator in the squad, all of a sudden they're fearless, and remember that teleport home I put down at deployment?
Yeah.
I deep strike on turn 2 in your deployment zone. I killed what I needed to kill. Now I think I need to be over the other end of the table. Okay, no bother. Bang, there I go. Oh, but that other squad I need over on the other side of the table, Beacon Angelus. Bang, there you go. But if that's not enough, you can also add a Vanguard Veteran to the squad. The Vanguard Veteran, of course, has a movement of 14, not 12. And he allows the unit to fall back and still shoot, as if they had fly. So, oh no, you charged my frag cannons and actually made it through with 2 Gene Stealers left over. And I rolled very badly and didn't kill you. I'm now going to retreat, pour all of my frag cannons into that Carnifex, or something bigger, and a couple of bolt pistols at 2 Gene Stealers to kill them.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth taking. The problem with all of this is 47 points for that Terminator. 18 points, well, 19 for the Vanguard because you have to pay for the bolt pistol. The Biker, then 27 or 29 points. The Biker allows a unit to retreat and still charge.
Okay.
So if you've got the the Vanguard in there, oh look, I've just retreated out of combat, I'm going to shoot all my weapons and then I'm going to recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course if you take a Biker, you can get a teleport homer. Now, here's a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
First of all, 5 veterans, Terminator, a Biker, and a Vanguard, right?
Yeah.
They can all ride in a Corvus because you can put your Bikers in a Corvus, right?
Yeah.
Get this though. 3-inch deployment from the Corvus, yeah?
Yeah.
14-inch move from the Biker.
So 17 inches, yeah.
17 inches. Oh, look. My Biker's base is actually quite long. That Vanguard Veteran that moves 12 is within 2 inches of him.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the Marines 9 inches behind. I mean, granted, you might not get the full distance, but you know what I mean? You can daisy chain like mad jumping out of a Corvus like that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It doesn't even have to be a Corvus. The Corvus just gives you that extra 3-inch movement.
Yeah, I can see daisy chains happening.
But that's one thing. something I tried against Phil, right? Now, obviously, if you have a full 10-man squad at the start of the game, you can combat squad, right?
Yeah.
So, hear me out here. 5 veterans.
Yeah.
4 bikers and a Vanguard.
Yeah.
Combat squad.
Okay.
What am I doing?
A lot of daisy chains.
No. 5 Marines that can do whatever they want. 4
Yeah.
bikers armed with power weapons, bolt guns, storm bolter and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the Vanguard. They're
Yeah.
moving very quickly. They're going to get within rapid fire range. And, you know, they can chop up a couple of things in combat, but I wouldn't chuck them against anything massive. But, see, I don't quite kill them, or you charge me and you do a wound or 2, or I lose a bike. No problem. I'm just going to retreat and shoot you now.
Yeah.
Very, very mobile, very quick fire base.
Definitely.
So the possibilities are endless on them. There's a whole host of weapons that can take Jacob. Storm shields, the Xenophage blade, which is a power sword, which allows you to, which forces your opponent to re-roll saves if they're a Xenos. Sorry, re-roll invulnerable saves. You've got all the combi weapons, apart from combi grav. You can take melter guns, you've got storm shields, you've got the Deathwatch frag cannon, you've got the shotguns. Do you know what I mean? There's a whole host of different ways you can kit the guys out. You know, if you want to build a fire base, right? Like, I don't know, go something like plasma guns or melter guns or something like that. Got even missile launchers and stuff. Infernus heavy bolter if you really want to. Terminator with an assault cannon, cyclone missile launcher, and a melter gun power fist. Granted, that one guy is suddenly like 130 points, but there it is. Do you know what I mean? Or go completely opposite way. Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminator, Dual Lightning Claw Terminator. Guys all armed with Storm Shield, Power Axes, Power Mauls, Lightning Claws, whatever you want. Get them in combat, pop that stratagem for 6s to hint doing extra attacks. Incredibly versatile.
Yeah. As someone who uses Death to the False Emperor, yeah, I can see that.
But I think the unit of the codex, without a doubt, and I know a lot of people don't like this, is the Primaris Intercessor squads.
They're the jump pack ones, aren't they?
No, Intercessors of the troops.
Right, yes, yeah.
So, much like what we've just discussed, you can build the kill teams, right?
Yeah.
With Primaris only. So, we discussed the weapons earlier. You've got the Assault 2 one, which is range 24. You've got the Rapid Fire 1 with -1 AP, which is range 30. Or you've got the range 36 Heavy 1, -2 AP 1. Okay?
Yeah.
Combined with all the special issue ammunition, obviously there's versatility for all of them. But,
okay, I can hear that, yeah.
Put an aggressor in the squad, right?
Yeah.
2 flamers. Nobody really wants to charge 2 flamers, okay?
Yeah.
But the squad can now suddenly advance and shoot without penalty. Take them assault bolters, right?
Yeah.
Use the special issue ammo for +1 AP and plus an extra 6-inch range. Look, I've got range 30 -1 bolt guns now, with 2 shots apiece, which is automatically better than the standard bolt rifle intercessors come with.
Yeah.
Or wound on 2s or whatever. In addition to that, of course, the aggressor can still shoot the flamers. If you want, you can take the Boltstone gauntlets. They don't get special issue ammunition, but I prefer the flamer. Yes, he's not always going to be able to hit, right? But realistically, if you've got 2 of them in a squad, who's going to charge them?
Yeah.
Who is going to charge 4d6 auto hits?
It is something that's like you want a good unit, a good durable unit to fight against, or something that, like, say you've got a Leviathan or something like that. That's something you want to charge it with, but they cost a lot of points.
Yeah. But He was out a little bit further, right? Inceptors, the big jump pack guys, right?
Yeah.
Assault bolters, 3 shots apiece, that's 6 shots, strength 5 -1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh look, I can now advance and still shoot them with no penalty.
Okay.
Because I put one guy in the squad. Because I've got an aggressor, I can advance and shoot with no penalty. Great. But, oh look, I can also now retreat and still shoot. If that's not enough for you, Jacob, how about I stick some Hellblasters in there?
Yeah.
Oh look, I've got Assault Plasma. I've got 2 shots at -3 AP at strength 6. Cool.
Yeah, very much.
I can now move very, very quickly and still shoot without the penalty to hit.
Yeah.
Dare I still overcharge? Oh look, I'm only killing myself on 1s now instead of 1s and 2s.
I can see that. That's going to be harsh.
If that's still not enough for you, Jacob, right, how about sticking a Reaver in there? Now, the reason I didn't put one against Phil is because Tyranids, Fearless, Synapse, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, I probably would have if I was fighting anyone else. In particular, I would if it was against Orcs. Now, a Reaver normally grants -1 leadership, right?
Yeah.
To within range of the model. He dishes it out to the whole squad. So anybody within range of him from the any enemy models within range of the squad suffer his ability. He's also, of course, got the grenades as well, which means you can't fire Overwatch if you charge and stuff as well. To be honest, you're probably not going to charge Primaris, but
yeah.
So there is that. But that's a very cool. You're moving 6 plus D6 for your intercessors because they're the slowest guys, right? And still shooting everything.
Yeah, at normal ballistic skill.
At normal ballistic skill,
and
with special issue ammunition.
And if you've got your bubble effects off right or your positioning right, you can also reroll 1s for like Watch Captains and Artemis and stuff like that as well.
Yep, and then of course you've got your mission tactics to reroll to wounds of a 1 as well. In addition to your special issue ammo.
Yeah, that's a lot of hits that are going to get through.
It is. But Reavers can also take bolt carbines, which is basically, it's an assault bolter, but it's a different name.
Yeah.
But it looks better because it looks like an SMG.
Yeah.
So that's the way I would do it. I would stick a Reaver in there with the bolt carbine instead, because then you've got a minimum 12 shots with your 5 intercessors and him.
Yes.
So that's the way I would do it. But, humour me with this build. Remember them heavy bolt rifles I told you about, the Stalker bolt rifles that are -2 AP? Alright, so give them special issue ammo, okay? Stick a heavy Hellblaster in there as well, so if you overcharge, you've got strength 9 plasma, right? That means you're wounding Land Raiders on 3s. Oh, look, I'm also rerolling 1s as well. Oh, no. You get where I'm going with this. So stick the aggressor in there as well. Now, you can still move and fire without suffering the penalty for heavy weapons because of the aggressor.
Yeah.
Now, I would probably definitely stick this guy with a flamer. You can also, it's worth noting as well, actually, I forgot to mention, the Inceptor you can take plasma with. So if your bolters aren't enough, the plasmas are assault weapons for the Inceptors as well. So you can do it that way if you wanted more plasma in the squad of the assault versions. So you wouldn't have to take a Hellblaster. You could literally get your plasma with your Inceptor and then take more intercessors. But yeah, you can build them heavy as well. And of course, if you've got the Reaver in there, you can lob a grenade for Overwatch, and if you get hit, it means that you can backfield camp an objective.
Yeah.
Turn 2. Oh, look, that squad's 9 inches away because they've just landed last turn and failed their charge. Right. I'm going to move back 6 inches so it's even further for you to get to us, but I can still shoot you and I'm not suffering the penalty.
That's, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So, I think, although they don't have the versatility that normal Marines do because of being able to take like power weapons, thunder hammers, all that jazz, I think for standard bolter weaponry, maneuverability, and resilience, right? Primaris Marines are much better than standard veterans because they've got 2 wounds apiece. If they do get in combat, they've still got 2 attacks. Now, what are you paying points-wise for that? Bearing in mind, I think the bolt weapons are better than a standard bolt gun because you've got the assault version or the heavy version, all with AP, or you can move up. You know, you can run around and still shoot as well. You're paying 2 more points. Per guy.
I think it's definitely one of those things. The Primaris kill teams are really good at shooting. Very, very good at shooting.
They've got weight of dice with the flexibility to take out Terminators and Marines.
Yeah.
But then also take out hordes as well.
Yes. It's definitely one of those things where it's like they are very good at what they do. The only reason why you would take veterans is for the close combat weapons to do the heroic intervention that you were talking about earlier. So say it does get charged, you can instantly support it to hopefully not lose that many Primaris Marines in combat.
Yep, obviously if you've got some guys on the back... actually that's an interesting build. I wonder if I could do this. So, have that heavy support intercessor squad, right? Have a Vanguard, have a veteran squad, a kill team near them, right? With a black shield in, kitted out with like a heavy thunder hammer and stuff. Someone drops in 9 inches away from that heavy support squad, right? They make the charge. Bang! I've heroic interventions. You can't attack us. I'm going to absolutely slaughter you.
Yeah. That's going to be something.
I think for multiple damage, you need the normal veterans because they've got access to melter guns. They've got access to combi flamers.
Yeah.
Are very good at dealing with hordes. And of course, all of the power weapons and stuff that they've got. Melter guns, though, is where it's at. And of course, the frag cannons and shotguns. So I think frag cannons are the best weapon we've got. Shotguns are great for clearing hordes as well. So I think there's still 2 ways to build a normal veteran squad. Obviously, you can add the other guys into it, but I think you're either going to go combat heavy, you're going to go anti-horde-ish with frag cannons and shotguns, or melter guns for the big guys. But then again, even with the big guys, the amount of bolters that you can put into them wounded on 2s, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
But they need to be your anti-vehicle because the intercessors and the Primaris can't do anti-vehicle.
Yeah.
They just can't. So I think in conjunction with a Corvus and then obviously a Dreadnought or 2, and then build a specific kill team, one or two with frag cannons and melter guns and stuff, maybe a combat one, I think I would rather do that and then take one of each of the intercessor kill teams rather than try to clam in the Vanguards in a squad and Terminators in a squad. I would absolutely leave out the Terminators. The problem is, I think the Terminators are very good. I think with 5 Stormbolters, with all of them dice, they're just still too expensive.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So I think the winners for DEATHWATCH are bikers and intercessor kill teams.
Yeah, it's definitely, at least with Primaris, they get a little bit extra, so it does feel as though if you want to do a Primaris army, you'd go to DEATHWATCH because of the extra buffs you get. Like, they're fine enough in the standard Astartes chapters and stuff, but an intercessor kill team on top of the special ammunition, on top of the +1s to hit and stuff like that with the stratagems and the traits and stuff like that, and their chapter tactics. If you want to make a Primaris army and have a lot of mixed matched personalization options, then intercessor kill teams are the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And as if that wasn't quick enough, Jacob, we've actually managed to cover all of that in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's Primaris. It's not Codex Primaris, it's Codex
Primaris.
it is Codex Primaris, but it's not.
We can deny it, we know it's the truth.
But yeah, I think DEATHWATCH will take practice. You have to build squads specifically, and you need to be a very good tactician to pull everything off in the right combos and everything, positioning wise, and it's not an easy army to play.
Oh yeah.
But at the same point, also very, very fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So that leaves one question remaining, Jacob, before we say goodbye.
Okay.
When are you coming back on the channel?
Once I get those bastard Night Lords painted up. I've got my list. I just need 2 models. I need another Leviathan. I know I'm a dick. And 1 more Rhino. And then it's just painting up all the squads. And then that's that. Like I say, it's getting a journey onto that. Once it's all painted, because I've already got 2 team printers. One you've already seen, which has already been painted up in the previous battle report. I just need a base set. And the other one, which I've just managed to spray, like got some new wings from Vargeist's kit, sprayed it all up, ready to paint it. Once it's painted, good for me.
How many Leviathans have you got now?
1.
Oh, I thought you had 2 already.
I wish I had 2.
Oh well. So hopefully, obviously, we'll get you back very, very soon, because Jacob has Night Lords. Not an army that you see too often, is it?
No, because the trick shit.
Language. I'm going to have to censor all of them out now.
Sorry.
I'll tell you what, though. I will not bring a fearless army.
I can actually use my trait. What magic is this?
How would you like it if I give you -3 leadership?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Times have turned.
So that is it, folks. Thank you very much for listening, especially if you made it all this way through mine and Jacob's hilarity and pondering of the universe and the meaning of life.
Which is 42.
What?
Meaning of life, it's 42.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to us. Go and check out Jacob on the Warpforge for Doctor Who shenanigans and Batman shenanigans.
Hopefully I should be able to get more battle reports up on Batman, and hopefully, because Phil just bought his Sontaran army, we should be having a few Daleks versus Sontaran battle reports, so that should be fun to see.
Indeed. So thank you very much for joining me, Jacob. Greatly appreciated. And
thanks for having us on.
You're a little bit like Stan Lee, aren't you? You just like pop up in the most random places.
Yes, I'm a ninja. I just go.
So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you again very soon.